Hello, everyone. Welcome back. This is Gigi Smile. Let's talk the Testaments, episode 7. Please know this will contain spoilers, and as usual, I will not compare the book to the show. So, the episode begins with Daisy listening to a radio broadcast by Mayday. They say that they still hold Boston and that Gilead has suffered heavy losses. I believe that the radio broadcaster's voice we hear is Mark Tuello. So Daisy seems to listen to the radio throughout the night, only putting it away in its hiding place just before Estee walks in early in the morning. And we can see who her bedmate is, who we later find out is named Talia. I'm wondering who decided to hide the radio in that bedpost. Do one of the ants know and or Mayday? This is another episode that goes between two timelines. So we see Daisy at the cafe that June left her in, and she's been there all night and all day. Now it's night again, and the woman that works there, whether she's a server or an owner, we don't know, but she apologizes for having to kick her out. And she says to her, it is a beautiful weather for a May day. And Daisy says it's friggin' March. And that's when she realizes that this is the woman that June had arranged for her to meet. The woman tells her that she did not think Daisy would last, that June was right about her, and she's going to take her to her next stop. We find out that the woman from the diner is named Linda, and she drops Daisy off at the next stop. But Daisy, when she wakes up after 14 hours of sleeping, is surprised to see a woman she does not recognize. And we know immediately that it's Rita. And I was just so happy to see Rita. I really loved her character in Handmaids, but I noticed that her character has changed. She's much more stylish, much more confident. But I'm surprised that she's in Canada because last we saw it, all the Americans were being kicked out of Canada. So I'm wondering what changed politically that the Americans seem to be back in Toronto. Rita immediately tells Daisy that she has a friend at immigration and is going to get her a fake passport, and she will be flying out to Colombia. And Daisy is very upset to hear this. All she wants to do is go home, but she can't. Rita explains to her that she isn't safe in Canada. But Daisy says that she can't not run for the rest of her life, that Gilead killed her parents. So Rita tells Daisy that Neil and Melanie set aside a little money for her. Daisy then asks about her birth parents. Now, Rita responds that she doesn't know who they were, but they got her out of Gilead and aren't alive anymore. So, if she doesn't know who they were, how does she know they're dead? That is my question. When Linda returns later with the fake passport for Daisy, she refuses to go to Colombia and demands to join Mayday. She says that they killed her parents and she can't let them get away with that, and that she will fight with or without Mayday and wants to talk to June. And that's when we hear Rita say that June has a plan, that she's been waiting for a girl, the right girl at the right age. And now we know why June was so interested in Daisy, why she took so many risks to make sure that she was watching her and went to the hospital and took her to the safe house, and why she exposed herself because she saw something in Daisy that Mayday could use. But Linda is objecting. She thinks that Daisy is just a kid. She just lost her parents. and she's grieving. And she knows that, of course, June would have a plan because she has a horse in the race. Before Rita will agree to allow Daisy to join Mayday, she asks her if she is fruitful, whether she's gotten her menstrual cycle. The answer is no. She has not started her cycle, and Daisy only knows of one girl that has. So, not having her cycle qualifies her as a Pearl Girl. But I wonder what will happen to Daisy if she gets her period in Gilead. And I now understand why June took so many risks exposing herself watching Daisy. I think that she saw potential in her, which is why she was at the store so much, at the hospital. She took her to the safe house, why she tried very hard to keep her safe. And I think that she recognized that strength in her. But I am happy from what I can see so far that June was not the one to recruit her, that Daisy recruited herself. So Mayday starts to train Daisy. They give her a fake passport and a cover story. Rita takes her to get a tattoo, which helps with her cover. Daisy befriends a Pearl Girl and is then taken to Gilead. And Garth is one of the guardians at the border and confiscates her radio, which is contraband. But we know he later returns that to her, and they have a hiding spot already prearranged. During Daisy's training, she does ask Rita what Linda meant about June having a horse in the race. Rita eventually tells her that June has a daughter in Gilead. I am 50-50 whether Daisy knows that her daughter is Agnes, but I'm curious to find out. But on the drive to the border to go into Gilead, we can see how nervous she is. And when she gets out of the car, she looks back and we hear the heavy breathing, and we can see that she's scared. But it takes a lot of courage for her to go through with this plan as a young girl, as a teenager. I have so much admiration for Daisy. I really, really love her, and I'm hoping that her journey in Gilead does not end in her being a wife or going into Jezebel's or anything like that. And it'll be an interesting thing to see this young person encourage so much courage from the other girls. So stay tuned for part two. Take care.